You know what that is? That there is an avocado picking machine. Yes, it is. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, the roof rack, it costs a lot, but look at what it can do. Look at this. When everyone else is down on the sidewalk and they can't reach the beautiful fruit, I can. Look at that. Yes. All right, so where am I and what am I doing? Well, I'm kind of doing the same thing I always do, but I'm in Lafayette, in front of a tree that I've been watching since I was a kid, dying of the cold, and then coming firing back. Basically, it's at the bottom of this crazy cold valley. You've got these big hills all around. I grew up way up on top of that hill. And there's another big hill up there that I live at now. And my mom still lives up over there. Didn't fall far from the tree, so to speak. But I used to drive by this tree constantly when I was like 13 or 14 years old. And I was like, that's an avocado tree. And lo and behold, it got to 16 degrees down here in 1990 when I was, what was that? Maybe a junior in college. That winter, I came home and I was partying at a friend's house and went out in her backyard, and her pool was frozen. Seriously, the pool was frozen. The whole top layer was frozen. Couldn't believe it. But anyway, that was the worst freeze that California's ever experienced, and I was very intimately involved in that freeze. And so is this tree. This tree, I could go inside the house, but this tree had to sit outside in that horrible Arctic air and put up with it. And of course, it died down real heavily. There's another video. I'll put a link to that video that shows the structure of this tree and where it died down to. And then it roared back, but it really never fruited. It never fruited. When I say never fruited, I mean like this thing never fruited. I found one fruit down on the ground one time, and picked that thing. It was really good. I forget what time of year it was, but and I watch this tree all the time. I drive by here just about every day. And then this year I noticed, this past spring, right now it's December 29th, and this past spring I noticed that this thing went crazy with the fruit set. Absolutely crazy. And I was like, oh man, it finally hit its stride. It's getting super tall. I have seen this thing frozen back like probably 5-6 times, like the whole entire tree frozen back, and it looks like someone blowtorched it. But anyway, finally it got to maturity, and now it's absolutely loaded. Absolutely loaded. And and they actually trimmed a bunch of this tree off. The property owners sort of they apologized. I came home one day, there was a whole bunch of the tree missing and a whole bunch of the fruit missing. And they said, oh, sorry, Gary, we had to trim this tree, so we cut off a bunch of the fruit. We were hoping you wouldn't notice. And I'm like, what do you mean you were hoping I wouldn't notice? I'm like, I'm absolutely going to notice that. You can't do that without me noticing. And I did. So anyway, what we don't really know, I just talked to the owners here. We're friends now after, they got used to having an avocado stalker. Lives right up the street. I told them I'd bring them some avocados, put them on their porch from my house. But what we don't know is, and you see there's a ton of fruit up here. Well, there was a lot more. See, look, there's one of the branches they cut. See that? Right in there? There's a whole bunch of branches they cut off. They probably cut down a third of the tree, which means they cut off a third of the avocados. And if we're talking money, let's talk money. $1 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's worth a burrito right there. One burrito. $8 burrito. It used to be $5 for burrito. Anyway, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, just add up the money on this tree. Those are dollar bills right there. This is like being the U.S. government. When you're short on money, you just print more. This tree is printing money. You have a COVID problem and you need to send everybody a bunch of money. You just print it, just like this tree does. This tree is just printing money. Look at all that printed money. Anyway, so what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna pick a few of these and we're gonna see if we can determine what the ripening period is on this fruit. So I'm not gonna pick too many because I'll tell you the way to do it. Look at this branch, it's insane. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 avocados on one branch. This tree has never been fertilized, never been watered. If it had been fertilized and watered, this fruit would be a lot bigger. Right now, it's slightly smaller than the typical Hass you buy in the store, but that's fine by me. Anyway, what we don't know is the ripening period. These avocados can ripen as early as, here's a big one right here. Let's pick this one. They can ripen as early, actually it's not that big, not that big. They can ripen as early as, say like September. And that avocado that ripens that early, the one that I'm most familiar with is Mexicola, followed very quickly by its sister, Mexicola Grande. And then the next fruit to ripen would be like my, Stewart. Here's another big branch of fruit. Look at this. That fruit. Look at that fruit. This is called avocado porn. Porn. People are wondering what I'm doing. Anyway, okay, here's the biggest one I can find. Right there. We'll pick that one. It's about Hass size. Slightly smaller than store-bought Hass. But, yeah, you have Stewart ripening about December. Then you start getting into Jim Bacon ripens for me next. And that would be probably like in January, February. And then we have Bacon follows after that. Then Fuerte. Then probably when you get to May, you start getting Hass. You start getting Gwen. You start getting Little Cotto. And then Reed and its parent. The parent of Reed is Nabal. That one will start to ripen in like June, July. And then you'll have a various pick period, anywhere from 2 months to, gosh, some of them seem to be 8 months. For some of the more Guatemalan types seem to hang on the tree longer. But what we don't know is what this actually is. It looks like a Hass seedling. It's got the bumps, and if it's truly Hass-like, then this fruit will not ripen right now. But I want to test it. I'm only going to pick one, and or maybe two. I'll pick two. I'll pick this one right here. And I told the owner I'd pick a couple for them. But whoops! Oh, what a waste! What a rookie move that was. I'll pick a couple from right here. Here's a nice one. There. Anyway, we're going to find out if this tree ripens. Now, what you want to do if you don't know the ripening period of your tree, or it's some experimental tree that you have, what you want to do is pick a few fruit when you think it might be ripe, and then let them sit on the counter and do their thing for 5 to 10 days and see if they ripen. And if they ripen up and they look really good and they taste really good, then you know that the date that you picked it on for at least that season, which should be fairly consistent unless our global warming really kicks in and things really change, you'll know that that's a good time to pick that particular fruit. Now, if the fruit rather turns rubbery and tastes nasty, we don't know yet. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm making a little video. Then you, if you pick it and it turns rubbery, then you know that it was too soon. You want to wait a couple weeks and try it again. But don't pick the whole tree and do that, because then, if they all turn rubbery, that's a total waste, right? So you keep doing that until you determine your pick period. What's also fun to do is to figure out your hang period. How long can these things happily hang? And the way you do that is you leave a few on the tree and you watch them very closely and see how long I don't know why it shakes like that. See that? Is that just me? Anyway, you'll wait and see how long the fruit will hang on the tree before they fall off. And during that time, from the time you can first eat it to the time it falls off naturally at the end of its season, it will be gaining oil content. And as it gains oil content, it will get richer tasting, which is always a good thing, right? But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And I think that would be a good ending point for this particular video. And if this tree really, look at this interesting leaf. I don't think I've seen that before. That's kind of fun. A little deformation right there. See that? Yeah, look, here's another one. Ooh, we have a new signifying feature of this tree. Every odd leaf might have a little deformation. But anyway, yeah, we might have a new variety. And if it turns out so, we'll start growing it and selling it to you guys who live in really cold areas. There's really literally no colder area. Look, it's so cold here. Look at what the landscape looks like in winter. You've got that compared to that. So, I don't know. Which would you prefer? This in your backyard in the middle of winter? Or the look of death? Anyway, come down to Golden Gate Palms and buy some avocado trees and you won't have to look at